The Galactic Council had always dismissed humanity as a primitive, unremarkable species. Compared to the great empires of the galaxy, humans were nothing. They had no advanced technology, no psychic abilities, no biological enhancements. They weren't particularly strong, fast, or long-lived. To the Council, humans were a footnote, a species so insignificant that they weren't even worth conquering. They were a joke. But like all good jokes, this one had a punchline, and the galaxy never saw it coming. The war that should have ended quickly. For centuries, the Accelerate Dominion was one of the most feared empires in the galaxy. Their fleets stretched across the stars, their warriors had conquered countless worlds, and their empire was built on the ashes of those they had annihilated. When the Accelerate first encountered humanity, they were unimpressed. Humanity had barely left their own solar system. Their ships were slow, their weapons outdated, and their strategy non-existent. Accelerate didn't see them as a threat, just another species to be assimilated or destroyed. And so they attacked. A fleet of Accelerate warships entered the Sol system, expecting an easy conquest. They launched plasma bombardments on Earth's cities, destroying millions of lives in mere moments. They demanded surrender, expecting humanity to kneel. But humans didn't kneel. They fought. At first, it seemed like a pathetic resistance. Their ships were primitive, their weapons ineffective against the Accelerate's energy shields. The Council observed the war with mild amusement, expecting the humans to crumble within weeks. Then something strange happened. The humans adapted. They changed tactics. They studied enemy movements, discovered weaknesses, and exploited them ruthlessly. Within months, they had reverse-engineered captured Accelerate weapons and begun producing their own versions, cheaper, deadlier, and more efficient. They learned to fight like no other species had before. They turned space debris into minefields. They converted asteroids into kinetic missiles. They built ships faster than the Accelerate could destroy them. For the first time in galactic history, the Accelerate were not winning. They were losing. A species that refused to die. The Galactic Council had seen many wars. Entire species had been wiped out before. Some had fought bravely. Some had even lasted longer than expected. But in the end, they always fell. But humans? They did not fall. Even when the Accelerate reduced Earth's surface to fire and ash, humans kept fighting. Even when their fleets were torn apart, they rebuilt them faster. They did not surrender. They did not run. They did something terrifying. They got angry. For every human world destroyed, they struck back 10 times harder. For every city lost, they bombarded an enemy colony into oblivion. They didn't just fight for survival. They fought for vengeance. And vengeance is a terrifying thing in the hands of a species that refused to die. The rise of the nightmare. What frightened the Galactic Council the most wasn't that humans were fighting back. It was how they were fighting back. Most species fought wars according to ancient traditions, following the same tactics that had worked for thousands of years. But humans didn't have traditions. They had innovation. Every loss was a lesson. Every mistake was corrected. Every battle made them stronger. The first human fleet had been laughable. The second was formidable. The third, unstoppable. Within 2 years, humanity was no longer just surviving. They were winning. The Accelerate were forced to retreat from Sol. By the 3rd year, humanity had pushed them back to their outer colonies. By the 5th year, the Accelerate surrendered. No one in the Galactic Council could believe it. An empire that had stood for thousands of years, defeated by a species that wasn't even a galactic power a decade ago. But humanity wasn't done. Not yet. The wrath of humanity. When a war ends, most species negotiate peace. They rebuild. They forgive. But humans? Humans didn't forgive. The Council sent ambassadors to mediate. The Accelerate pleaded for mercy. Other empires offered reparations on their behalf. But humanity had learned a brutal truth about the universe. Mercy is weakness. And so, they erased the Accelerate. Every colony, every homeworld, every trace of their existence was wiped from the galaxy. Entire planets were turned to glass. Accelerate civilians, warriors, and leaders alike, none were spared. The species that had once mocked humanity was no more. And the rest of the galaxy? They watched in horror. The galactic response. The great empires of the Council convened in an emergency session. For the first time in recorded history, every major species was in agreement. Humanity was a threat. They had underestimated humans once. They would not do so again. Fleets were mobilized. Defense pacts were signed. War strategies were drawn up. The Galactic Council prepared for war against the monsters they had created. But the war never came. Because humanity didn't need war anymore. They already won. They didn't conquer with weapons. They conquered with fear. No empire dared to challenge them. No fleet moved against them. The mere possibility of human retaliation was enough to keep the galaxy in line. And so humanity ruled. Not as emperors. Not as conquerors. But as the nightmare lurking in the shadows of the universe. The new galactic order. The Galactic Council had always ruled from a place of power. The great empires believed themselves untouchable, eternal. But now, they feared the very species they had laughed at. Old alliances were restructured. Treaties were rewritten. Entire civilizations surrendered without a fight when humanity expanded beyond their system. Because the message was clear. Never underestimate humanity. The species they had mocked had become their worst nightmare. And humanity? They were just getting started.